Hello and welcome to Wednesday's version of Talking Reds. Now, rather than being a midweek slump, we're actually quite bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I'm here with Gibbo. Hello.
Hello. It's the last day of drilling, so we're very excited. Apologies if you've heard some drilling in the background of videos and indeed podcasts. But yeah, we're sure this is the last day. To celebrate the last day, the cafe downstairs are giving everyone free coffee. So that's pretty cool. Oh, yeah. Did you miss out?
Yeah, I did. Well, after that...
So to celebrate the last day of drilling, the cafe downstairs are giving me free coffee.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
It's just for full-time staff, mate, you know what I mean? Oh, that was a low blow. It's just for like people who are properly in the Anfield off and not just like a little bit.
Well, because you guys are here for me, I'm not going to walk out, but we're going to have words about this.
It's not my fault. Here's the drill.
There's the drill, right on cue. Right, anyway, so Liverpool now. Champions League, yes, thank you. Football saved me once again. Now, we are not playing this week, but obviously we've nearly got to the end of everyone's first leg, so we've nearly just about seen everybody. Obviously, Man United and Sevilla hold no surprises for us. We've played against both this season. Shakhtar, well, they are a little bit of a dark horse, so maybe watch them this evening just to be on the safe side. But we've seen all the big hitters, the guys who are expecting to be around the business end of the trophy. So, John, who has impressed you so far this season?
Well, Liverpool, though. But it's true, though. I mean, you've got to say that Liverpool have got the most impressive results of the of the round so far. Obviously, there was another 5-0 last night, but there was the team at home won. It was a red card and things like that, and so Bayern looked good, but they were playing against 10 men for a lot of the time and playing at home. So for Liverpool to go away against a team who always performed to a decent standard in Europe, you know, it's obviously been a while since they won it now. But in terms of doing well, getting through the groups and things like that, they're always kind of there. And so to go there and beat a team who haven't been beaten all season at home 5-0 is an incredible result. And so I think people will be looking at Liverpool now and thinking, you know, outside of Europe, and thinking, well, maybe they're more challengers than we thought. I thought the game last night was a good one. It was obviously a bit more tactical than most Liverpool games have been this season. But I thought Chelsea acquitted themselves pretty well. It's interesting they went with Hazard as a number 9. Whether they'll do that away or go for a target man who can hold it up a bit more, we'll have to kind of wait and see. But Barcelona, I don't think this is the best Barcelona side we've seen. I thought there was a few comments on Twitter saying the squad look a bit heavy. Did it look a bit heavy to you? I mean, me and you aren't ones to talk about.
No, I mean, well, maybe we are. We are the experts.
Okay, weight experts here.
And I can tell you that shade of purple does no favours for him.
Okay, right.
And he's always been a striker who likes to use his arse a little bit. I mean, Hazard is kind of the same in that. I kind of respect them both for that. But he did look a little bit subdued, I think it's fair to say. As for Chelsea, they kind of went for the away performance at home. And to a certain extent, it did work. I mean, they were more concerned about stopping Barcelona doing what Barcelona wanted to do. And one mistake away from a really good performance, stopping them getting an away goal. I still think Barcelona are favourites going into it. As for who else...
well, I didn't watch. I'll just say I didn't watch the PSG Real game because I was obviously watching the Liverpool game, but because I was away as well, I couldn't even kind of watch any extended highlights really. And so I don't know how much you saw of that game and what you kind of thought of it.
Well, John, because I have no other life and I certainly don't have a wife, I was able to watch 2 full football matches on Valentine's Day. So I watched the entire repeat later on, and I've got to say, well, you know, as much as I was actually impressed by PSG and I thought they were the better team overall, there was a key moment where Unai Emery got it wrong. He took off Cavani too early. He decided to go with 2 full-backs on the right side. And Real Madrid took that bait and they decided to grow into the game. There was still 2 lucky shots at the end that got them the goal. But in some ways, when you're in Europe and you're a team who's used to doing it year in, year out, if you can find a way to just get yourself in the lead, and that's what Real Madrid have done, then you're going to be a hot prospect. I think PSG aren't out of it. I think PSG can definitely win. They just have to make sure that they try to do it together, not anyone on their own tries to become the hero.
How good's Cavani, Mo?
Right. I think Cavani is actually grown into the team. If you took him out of PSG and put him somewhere else, I don't think he'd be as effective. In the same way that Falcao was when he came to England. He works in that system very well. And I think you have to respect the fact that he's a great finisher. He scored more goals than anyone else has ever done on a PSG shirt. And if you put him in a Champions League game, he's a threat. However, I also put him in that Higuain category in as much as if he's only going to get one chance throughout the entire game, you don't know whether or not he's going to take it. And in these kind of European matches, when it gets to business end, that's important. I think he's a good striker, but you know.
There you go. It seems like a good time to plug the European show, which is a show we do on Tour Player. Part of our subscription service, £5 a month. The likes of Mo, Paul Senior, basically all the people who haven't got real jobs, who watch a lot of European football.
You're on one today, aren't you?
I'm enjoying myself. Yeah, there's a few of our guys, seriously, who watch a huge amount of football, are very knowledgeable, and they get together. But it's a really good show, very, very popular. And so, yeah, I think you're recording one this week.
We're recording it tomorrow. And the main headline is that Paul Senior and I'm going to be trying to prove to Paul Senior why Juventus aren't shit, as he labelled them after the game against Tottenham. So I don't know how much of the show that's going to take up, but put it this way, I've got a lot of prepared notes.
And Paul Senior is very stubborn, so
he's extremely stubborn.
Could be the whole hour.
He sets the agenda, so really, if he puts it first, then yeah, you may not want to. If you're a PSG fan, you may want to come back next month. But in terms of the Champions League games, as we said, there's another couple tonight, but there's also a very important game happening today for Liverpool in the Youth League, Under-19s League. As we know, Steven Gerrard is our manager. And we're playing Man United. Hooray!
Yeah, it's actually in the Under-19s kind of Champions League, if you like. So we got through the groups. You might remember when the groups were taking place. Liverpool's Under-19s played the same teams earlier in the day, and it went really well. They topped the group and played excellently. They now don't follow the format of the Champions League grown-ups, if you like. It's just a free draw. They've got Man United, so that adds a bit of spice. Steven Gerrard's obviously our manager. You might not know that Nicky Butt is the Under-19s manager of Man United, so that's like an old midfield battle kind of resurrected as well. It's over at Prenton Park, which we can almost kind of see from here, and it's just £3 to get in if you're adult, £1 for child. So if you can get there for 3 o'clock, I know it's not always easy for people, but if you can kind of get over, or maybe get your kid out of school and make it over for the second half, well worth doing. All hoping to see the likes of Ben Woodburn playing and Harry Wilson, those guys, the kind of next along the ladder, if you like. So it's going to be a really good game, so get over and support it if you can. And Tranmere's a boss little ground as well.
It is. And for those of you who aren't in the local area, you'd be lucky to know, who are still in England, it's actually on BT Sport as well.
Was it?
Yeah.
There you go.
Which is why they had Steven Gerrard in their studio last night discussing Chelsea.
There you go.
There were some people who were saying that maybe he should have been preparing the team. I mean, it's a 2-hour train drive, guys. But you know that was the lead up. They wanted to ask him about it and he'd do a little bit of an advertisement for it. So BT are also bigging it up, because
awesome.
Liverpool Man United is always going to be big. Like, there could be 2 guys in the middle of Singapore playing tiddlywinks. If one's got a Liverpool shirt on, one's got a United shirt on, you know that's a really big battle.
Mo's watching.
I said tiddlywinks.
Mo's watching.
All right, yeah, I probably am watching. I'm not going to lie to you. Oh God, this has become a confessional, hasn't it? I don't know how we got into this. Oh, John, you've battered my head. What are we talking about now? Mate. Yeah, I could do with one of those. Right, now we've got some other things we're going to talk about from the paper section, but I believe before that there was one other subject that we were going to cover.
Can't remember. Is there?
No, there wasn't one other subject we were going to cover.
We'll get on to the papers.
We'll get on to the papers. I need a coffee.
He's got his coffee. He moaned and made Sam go and get him one like a diva that he is.
It's the papers. I'm not saying anything to that. We've got plenty to get on with, so let's crack on. Now, there's been a fantastic stat out by the always excellent Andrew Beasley, which has been picked up by the Echo, about the performance in Porto and how it was the 5th time under Jürgen Klopp that we've won by at least 5 goals away from home, which is kind of staggering when you think about it. I mean, we all know that this is a team who, when they get hot, they get really hot and they can steamroller people. But I mean, it's never something that's never been done in the history of the club, and he's managed to do it in just under 2.5 years. It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, he's now it's a record for the Liverpool manager. Basically, it's one more than Bob Paisley, and that we were a little bit surprised Gerrard as well. We were racking our brains for these 5-goal plus victories, and we could only think of an Ipswich one where they went away from home and won 7-0. But comment under the bottom of this on Facebook and Anfield or on our YouTube, whatever you're watching on, if you can remember more than me and Mo. We've just got the Ipswich one at the moment, but on Jürgen Klopp, it just shows what an exciting team this football side is and how much fun they are to watch. Obviously, we'd all love a trophy soon. Maybe there'll be a nice pot in Kiev at the end of the season, who knows? But if not, we all want cups sooner rather than later. But at the moment, what we are watching is exhilarating football, is stuff that's really exciting to watch. And the fact that you can go anywhere and know that you might batter them, just adds the excitement when you wake up in the morning and going to watch Liverpool.
And we've got such a great record of scoring away goals in particular. Going back to what we were saying in the first part about the Champions League teams and what they're going to be thinking about us, that's going to be in the back of their mind, because you never know when we're going to ignite. And I like that. Now, speaking a little bit further back within the pitch, our old mate Dejan Lovren has been talking in the Echo, talking about how he's going to do all his best to help Virgil van Dijk settle in, it's just adorable. It really is. Now, I'm not saying this to kind of belittle Lovren, obviously. I think he's now finding himself as an important or a reliable part of the squad. But I think his best advice to help Virgil van Dijk settle in is, don't do what I did for the first 2.5 years, and you'll be sound.
I know. I mean, Virgil has walked in like he owns the place, which is great, hasn't he? He's kind of strutted there and he's like, yeah, I'm the man. He's like, basically sticking his chest out.
He hasn't even had to say anything. I know. He exudes it.
He's just like a peacock. He just shows his feathers, doesn't he? And everyone just starts salivating. Basically, Lovren, it's really sweet of you, but Virgil's fine.
It's almost as if he's trying to prove that he's still important. It's like, I've still got a role to play. I'm going to help him bed in. I think as well, it's kind of interesting that there's going to be some internal jostling between him and Matip and Klavan as to who gets to be his long-term partner. Yeah,
well, he talks about that in the story as well. He talks about rotation and says, it's something that they've got to get used to under Klopp. Traditionally, you basically rotate every position apart from centre-half, don't you, and you commit. At the moment, it looks like Jürgen Klopp is willing to rotate a little bit more. Even Virgil has found himself out the team a couple of times. And so you do wonder, though, when once, we're in the business end of the season now, but basically, if we do get to a Champions League final, 2 lads are going to play and someone's going to be upset. And so rotation's one thing, but when we're even once you get to the kind of quarter-final, semi-final stage, I imagine by then he'll have decided who is partnering Virgil van Dijk.
We'd like to think so anyway. But no, in all seriousness, I think it's great that Lovren is trying to reach out to him, trying to make sure that there's no doubt. Because, I mean, essentially, there would have been the ability for some tension, because he is essentially looking like he's going to be coming in to replace him, but he's saying, no, we're all one team together. We're all working towards the same goal, and that gets 2 thumbs up for me. In the same spirit, Klopp's been talking about what he did, or really what he didn't do, to help bring Sadio Mane back into form. And that's basically it, John. He didn't really do anything. He left him to his own devices. And this is really important, I think, because it was something that everyone was talking about, and he was being asked about it regularly in press conferences. There were think pieces here, there, and everywhere. And when you're a player like Sadio Mane, or a player in general who's low on confidence, if you feel like everybody's talking about you, you're always going to be watched at every little thing you do. It's harder to relax and get back into your game. Whereas the fact that Klopp's been able to say, look, I'm not worried about you, so you shouldn't be worried about you. You'll be fine. And it's done the trick.
Yeah, and fair play to the manager on that, really, and fair play to the Echo, who've managed to get 3 really interesting stories on a quiet Wednesday. Good, yes, the boys. But It's an interesting one for me, this, because everyone associates Klopp as being this guy who gives you the big hugs and his arm around the shoulder and he tells you how brilliant you are, and this shows that that's not necessarily always the case, and I think that's clever management, because I think not everyone's different. So, you know, you think about the office you work in, or the place that you work. You know, some people need a telling off every now and again. Some people need an arm around the shoulder. Some people
need hot chocolate.
Some people just give them a hot chocolate and they're happy. You know, people are motivated by different things, and people are also picked up by different things. He's obviously looked at Sadio Mane and thought the best way of dealing with this is just not to make a big deal out of it. So if it had sat him down and we'd have said, oh, where's it all going wrong, and overanalyzed it, maybe they started thinking about things too much. Maybe it turns what's a problem into a crisis, whereas he's just looked at it and thought, and just obviously made Sadio feel that it's not a big deal, that it'll be fine, it's just a little blip. In fact, you're actually playing okay, it's not brilliant, but not too bad, and you'll be soon back to your best. And we hope it is. Now, it's only one performance, you need to remember, but the fact that he seems to have got his confidence back from that one performance, and the fact that he's talking about it bodes well for the rest of the season.
I think it really does, and I like your point as well about the what we expect or what we believe Klopp is like and what he can be like when the doors are closed and the cameras are off. So yeah, big shout out to Ian Doyle for getting that scoop there. And yeah, best of luck for the rest of the season, Sadio, and the rest of the Reds. Now, there's a few more little things that came from the papers we want to talk about. We like this picture.
Yeah, we just want to show this because it's a really cool sports photo. So well in whoever took that. But we're actually going to talk about the story at the top, because we've already talked about the Champions League. So just a little bit to finish on the Aguero point, because it's transpired already that he's not going to get charged, which I find a little bit surprising. But I just wonder whether he got the kind of the digging first, you know, kind of say, oh, he hit me first type thing. He's come out and say he was spat at and he was swore at by this Wigan fan. I mean, none of it's great, is it? No, you would say, and I really don't mind the pitch invasion. I think it can add to something. I think there's been some classic kind of sports images where the fans have run on the pitch.
Exactly.
I mean, the most famous commentary of all time is some people on the pitch, they think it's all over, and so I think when it's running on to celebrate with your own team, it can look kind of really iconic. But I mean, Aguero's got himself into a situation where he's trying to congratulate a Wigan player and he ends up you know, in an altercation. Yeah. Obviously there's the Wigan fans who choose then to go over to the Man City fans, and there's stuff thrown and things like that which can be dangerous for people who don't want to get involved. No. And so it's just a bit of a messy situation really, and it's a bit of a shame because it takes a bit of the gloss off what was an amazing win.
It does, and I mean, when you think about some of the other variables that you can put into the mix, the fact that Wigan have, since the last time they beat City in the Cup, they've kind of gone on a downward slope, so this is almost like a reminder of past glories. Yeah. And they're a local rival. I mean, okay, Wigan and Manchester aren't that far away, I wouldn't say rival, so there's a little bit of that, almost kind of like, you know, if you City fans, so it's going to be that extra spicy. Regarding Aguero and what went on, I think that when you get into the situations where players do come on the pitch, from the player's perspective, he really doesn't know what he's going to get. Like, I listened to Andy Townsend talk about it on 5 Live, and he made sense for one of the first times I've actually heard. And he was said that when you're a footballer in that situation, you don't know if someone's going to come and shake your hand, give you a kiss, or give you a right-hander. So he's obviously going to be on the back foot. It's a very uncomfortable situation for players, one they're not used to. So anything that he does within is going to be looked at within that framework, which is why I think the FA have decided, you know what, considering the situation's only happened through something that we agreed shouldn't have happened, then we're going to get away with it. I think in terms of the Wigan fans, get on the pitch and enjoy yourselves, but is there really any need to go up and antagonise the opposition player? I just don't see what you're going to get out of it. I mean,
well, a right hook.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing as well is that it's a shame City are such a small team. I mean, if they'd have pulled that stuff on Company or Yaya Toure, it'd have been very interesting. I don't think they'd have got away. But I mean, do you really want to be Twitter famous for being that idiot who tried to swing at Aguero? I mean, have a word with yourselves. Enjoy the match, but go to your fans and your players. Don't leave the City guys alone.
Leave the City guys alone. Listen, lots of stuff coming out on the Anfield app this week on our tour player. As we said earlier, it's £5 a month for huge amounts of football analysis, both here in Liverpool and, as we talked about before, a crossover to Europe as well, as we build up to the West Ham game at the weekend. It'd be nice to watch Liverpool again. But in the meantime, Gareth and I'm not sure, Gareth and someone will be... Gareth and Kopi will be back tomorrow. I think on yesterday, Gareth asked for questions. Loads of you commented in the YouTube, so they'll be replying to some of those tomorrow, I believe.
I just wanted to say as well, on that note, a massive thank you to Craig. I'm absolutely honoured that you decided to name your firstborn child after me. I don't know what to do with this information, but just know that Mo works for a boy and a girl.